What's going on? That sucked. Welcome to another edition of Chips and Dish here on the All About the Birds Network. I'm your host, Chip Keggy, joined tonight by my good friend and fellow teacher on summer vacation, Don Conaway. Don, what's happening, my friend?
Oh, man. I wish we were in a more jovial mood.
Yeah, that sucked.
But no, I mean, there's some good things to take out of it, but, disappointing. I thought you would have Wednesday night to close it out, and now having to, you're going to have to go back to Atlanta to at least play Game 6. The good thing is that what we know is this team is when they play, when they're hitting on all cylinders, minus Danny Green at this point. We know that they're a better team than the Hawks.
I like what Adam said here. Screw Atlanta and Trae Young. Basically, I am so tired of the Atlanta Hawks at this point. They're not as good of a team as the Sixers. Let's start with that. They're not as good of a team as the Sixers, but the Sixers played like garbage tonight. They started the game strong. They were up 13 at the half, and then they were like, screw it. We're just going to win this game. And you saw it even in the fan base, where the fan base is saying, oh, well, we're done. We can change the channel. This is over. Y'all, it's not over. You saw a hungrier team play. So we're going to get into it. This is a special edition of Chips and Dish, straight post game. We're going to talk nothing but Sixers tonight. The Phillies are currently playing over in Los Angeles. They threw the first pitch a little while ago, but we're talking Sixers because they're the talk of the town right now. So get your comments in. Before we do all that, the usual, let's pay the bills real quick. All About the Birds is sponsored by Statement Games, fun-free twist on fantasy sports. Check that out in the link. oddsjam.com. Use the Arbitrage Calculator to not use money. Link in the bio. All About the Birds shop, all kinds of new designs. 99jersey.com. Code is AATBirds20. AATBirds20 for 20% off discount. And, of course, manscaped.com. We will be talking all about that at the end. Cool. Bills paid. Don, your initial thoughts, go. I'm not in a jovial mood this fine evening.
No, disappointed. Disappointed because you had an opportunity to be able to close this series out, knowing that the Bucks and Nets series is going to go at least 6, maybe 7. You had a chance to maybe close it out early on Wednesday, get a couple of extra days rest. Now you're going at least 6. You're going to have to go back to it. You knew you were going to – here's the solace in all this. You knew you were going to have to win 2 in Atlanta. So
Right.
it just so happens that second game is going to have to be Game 6.
It's infuriating. It is infuriating,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of watching the Twitter comments roll in, and I'm people are blaming everybody every which way. I mean, we're going to talk about some of the things that caused this. The fact that Joel Embiid shot 4 of 20. You can probably position that pretty high. You can talk about the officiating and the Trae Young calls. You can talk about the flagrant versus the not flagrant. You can talk about how Trae Young is going to be an excellent travel agent because of all the traveling he does. We're going to get into all of it, but the fact of the matter is that the Sixers, between the two halves, they looked one way in the first half, and then they looked tired in the second. My question that I want to pose to you immediately is Danny Green that much of an X factor? Because we're without him for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks, provided we have another 2 to 3 weeks. Did Danny Green being out of this lineup remove the stability and put some question marks in?
No, I don't think so. I think it's very clear what the deciding factor in this game was. Joel Embiid had by far his worst game in, as long as I can remember. I can't remember him having a night where he shot as poorly as he did.
4 of 20,
played really well
4
on
of
the
20.
defensive end. Still got a lot of rebounds. Still played an imposing presence on the defensive end. But still, you can't. The difference between them winning and losing tonight is him shooting marginally better.
Agreed.
Right. To me, the swap of Danny Green and Korkmaz in the starting lineup, I don't think you saw a tremendous difference in this team's performance, other than the fact that Embiid just by far had his worst game in as long as I can remember.
He played terrible. Joel Embiid, and again, we're being really tough on a guy with a torn meniscus and back problems, and he's carrying this team as far as. But it's the playoffs now. It's the playoffs. A2D checking in. What's up, my friend? It's the playoffs now. You cannot shoot 4 of 20. Ben Simmons shot 5 of 10. So, but all of his things were layups. His shots were layups. So you expect that. You look at Ben Simmons and he shoots 1 of 5 from the free throw line. That's a problem. You see Seth Curry shooting 0 of 1 from the free throw line. That's a problem. The rest of the team, I mean, we didn't get to the line. We got to the line 21 times. The exact same 21 times that the Hawks did. Except they shot 2 more.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if that could have been a deciding factor.
Yeah, I think and this is something that I've heard you guys talk about, and we've talked about it on our show, is about consistency. And I heard I can't remember the guy, was it Kenny Smith who was on the announced tonight? But
yeah, I think so.
About consistency. I mean, even they were talking about consistency within the officiating. And I think that plays a huge role, because it lets the players know what is going to be and what is not going to be called. And you could clearly see that there were plays where, I'm trying to remember back, in games 1 and 2, where those fouls were called as shooting fouls for Embiid in the low block.
When you have a player like Trae Young
in this game,
who the competition committee has to revisit his style of play because of his style of play and James Harden, where they're leaning into fouls and getting fouls called. The competition committee for the NBA has to analyze the Trae Young style of play and the James Harden style of play. That's a problem. When are they going to analyze it? Because if they don't do it during this series, having a conversation with these refs, there is zero consistency. The amount of bodies that are hitting the deck, and I get it, it's the playoffs, you play harder. You're just breaking the 100-point threshold. I get all that. But someone's going to get hurt. You saw it. Danny Green got hurt. Joel Embiid is playing hurt. Even Trae Young, who I don't like, is playing hurt. He's playing so much and getting hit so much that his hairline is running away from contact. Trae Young, aged 37 years this series. Worst hair in the NBA. And I'm including LeBron.
But over the course of the last 4 games, he has very quickly, for me, become like a hate the face guy.
Oh my God.
Like,
I can't. He just got a face you just want to punch.
And here's the thing for me is that I don't want to take away from his ability as a player.
He's a good 3-point shooter.
He's a young, up-and-coming talent. I get that.
Good 3-point shooter.
He has an ability to be able to score. I get that.
A floater and turning it into the alley-oop. Those are cool plays.
Yeah. Holy hell. I'm going to curse. It's 10:30. Nobody's up.
You can curse. It's my show. You curse.
I hate his game.
I
hate his game. His game is predicated completely on getting fouls called by leaning in. Or the one play that they had, I think there was like about between like 2 and 3 minutes left, where he picks up his dribble and jumps and then awkwardly like throws the ball up like sideways
and then gets pissed off if it's not called.
And you're right. Even if he does any of that nonsense, if it's not called, there's then the immediate like, what? Like, and he got a
I would have double teed him up. I would have double teed him up for that. The open your eyes thing, and then continuing to talk. Bye-bye. See ya. And that's as a Sixers fan, I would have double teed him up. We're gonna get into the conversation about
it's just so
playoff officiating. We're gonna get into the conversation about playoff officiating in a minute.
Stand his game.
It's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying. It's that
kid
in our class who just complains nonstop. That's what it is. It's the kids in our classes that just complain nonstop. You're doing too much. But this is too hard. This is too much. Shut up.
Right, but then they'll
this is what it is
and get 100 and then ask for extra credit.
It's obnoxious. Absolutely. It's the kids who wait until the day after grades are due and say, "Hey, what can I do? You failed. That's what you did." So so our initial thoughts, like Jason just said as well, disappointed. I agree. Let's look into a couple of things. I want to be specific. I want to be focused here. I want to make sure this is a very intentional show so we don't spend the next 50 minutes complaining about the terrible officiating and the awful, awful Atlanta fans who are chanting MVP for Trae Young when he goes to the line, and he didn't even get one damn vote. Yeah. Shut your damn mouths. Shut your damn mouths. So let's be focused. Let's be intentional.
I hate it.
Let's ask. I hate Atlanta.
Any
of my fans here in Atlanta,
Atlanta.
Shout out to you. Any of my Atlanta fans, but I hate Atlanta.
I hate everybody in Atlanta at this point because I can't they seem like such fake fans. Like you can't for the life of me reasonably sit there and say that Trae Young is an MVP. Like, favorite player?
No.
Whatever. Your best player?
No.
Great. But to say to sit there and chant MVP, to me, I hope Embiid has a moment.
He wasn't even the best player on the court tonight.
Where he's able to. No, he wasn't. John Collins played out of his mind.
Yeah. So we're skipping around. Let's get intentional here. So, question 1, starting with the starters.
Okay. All right.
Was starting Furkan the right moves, and will that be the move going forward? Because we know we're without Danny Green for the next 2 to 3 weeks with that injury. Yeah. So, was starting Furkan the right move? And should he continue to be the starter? I'll let you start.
I think it was. I think you replace shooting with shooting. I think you keep the.
I mean, more hot shooting right now.
Yeah, the bench rotation the same, and I don't think that the drop off is all that much, if anything at all. I think you're getting same or similar production. Now you're not getting. I won't even begin to say that you're getting as much experience because you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even
No.
getting close to the
No,
amount
the
of
level of
experience.
experience that Danny
Right.
Green brings to the court is absurd, and that part was missed. That you missed that calming voice when it got to those points where it was getting all over the place and getting chaotic.
Late in the third,
Danny
early
Green
in the
going,
fourth,
"Look, right, we can come back from this." You missed that calming voice for sure.
Right.
I think being back in Philadelphia, having him on the sideline, that will be important. But as far as being on the court, you definitely missed that aspect of it.
Right.
I'm going to say that it was starting him was the right move for a different reason. And it's because in my mind, the only two people you could have started in that situation were Furkan or Matisse, right? Because everybody else, I mean, you could start Maxey, but then you got to position people around because Maxey's your point guard.
Yeah.
You could start Shake, but again, it's the same kind of thing where Shake's going to want to, and we're going to talk about Shake in a second because I have some feelings and some thoughts. I like the idea of starting Furkan over Thibault because Thibault provides that second wave of energy of defense when Simmons comes off the court. If you have them both on the court at the same time, there would be a noticeable drop-off when one of them or both of them have to come off the court. I think that the Furkan to Danny Green comparison is a lot closer as far as offense goes, except, Furkan's shooting better right now. He had 10 points, 2 of 5 for the 3. Like he played well. Now, having him on the court for 25 minutes, that's a lot of minutes, but
it's a lot of minutes.
I think it was the right move.
You're also you've got to look at him in that offensive position. Like you've got to look at him in that starting role and say, in that starting role, you're probably going to play him 20 to 25 minutes.
Right.
But, the only other thing, that to me was the trade-off was not nearly as much going from Danny Green to Furkan, and it also didn't disrupt your bench and your second rotation of players coming in. So, those other moves of moving Matisse into that role, the thing that I worry about with that is him getting in foul trouble. If he gets 2 early fouls, and
exactly, you are moving a player. Yep. And, when they announced the defensive team, the fact that, we knew Ben Simmons was going to be all first team. I mean, he is a defensive beast. He is the defensive player of the year. You cannot tell me otherwise. But the fact that Matisse made second team being one of the 10 best defenders in the NBA, that says something. That says to me, if this kid can learn how to shoot a little bit, he is going to be a superstar in this league.
Yeah,
but he got 5 points.
Be your 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, he's going to be your Draymond Green type player.
If he can, correct. If he can, and I think where Ben Simmons, where the evolution of Ben Simmons' game is to get better at the free throw line, the evolution of Thibault's game is to become an outside shooting threat. The second that he becomes a viable, 30 to 38% 3-point shooter, the deeper this team gets.
Exactly. Jason, I know that you're watching, so I got to tell you that Spencer Howard just hit his first career hit. It was a double, and I'm sure he's going to be exhausted because he had to run to second base.
Yeah.
So expect a drop off of about 5 to 6 miles per hour in the bottom of the third or the bottom of the second inning. So that was my Phillies talk for the night. But yeah, I think
we put that in the sports betting arbitrage? That
probably. What will his average? What will his miles per hour drop down to, Jason? I figured you would appreciate that. I was going to have Jason on the night to talk some baseball, but there was a Sixers game, so I told Jason I'll get him next week. So look for that. Dropping to 86. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God.
He is going. His miles per hour is going to drop slower than my car drives, which isn't very good right now. But yeah, I think that Furkan was the right move. Now, one comment that Jason had need more Maxey. Maxey played 6 minutes tonight.
6 minutes, yeah.
He played 6 minutes, and it wasn't for a lack of. He took one shot, it went in. He had a rebound. He played 6 minutes. And it wasn't that the game was out of control.
No, and just at first glance, I feel like I think the reason that he didn't play the minutes that we think he might have played was because it was in the like when he normally gets those minutes, it's late in the third, early in the fourth.
Yeah, it's
when they
those,
have a bigger
those
lead.
give me a spell minute,
And
right?
that lead wasn't there. That game was tight. I feel like it might not like that might be Doc Rivers saying maybe not this might not be the moment for you.
But then you look and you see
That's
that
the only
like
thing I can
Doc,
think of.
but you look and you see it. The Doc then went, okay, so we're missing the veteran leadership that Danny Green provided, so we're going to play George Hill 13 minutes. George Hill was 1 of 3 from the field, 2 points, 2 rebounds, and assist. 0 of 1 from 3. He did nothing. Maxey provides more of a spark. So you're giving up the experience by playing the kid for the energy. But at that point, the team was so flat that they needed the energy.
But if you look at that, if that stretch in the third quarter where they gave up that lead, nobody was producing. There was zero production from virtually anybody that was on the floor. So to look at those guys that were coming off the bench that were trying to spell the starters in that end of the third, I think as soon as you started to see them go on a run, to me, Doc Rivers, you got to call a timeout. You got to stop the run. You
got to jump all over it. Right, you got to jump all over it before it becomes a problem. And you look at it, again. I'm just looking at the box score.
In a playoff game. That momentum has to be. You have to pay attention to that momentum.
Right.
In a playoff series, like I honestly thought the one play that I thought was smart, and I was hoping it was going to come back and help the Sixers was what they ended up calling a flagrant foul on Simmons, where he doesn't.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Don't you worry, because I have some thoughts. I got some thoughts. But what it comes down to...
I thought that was a huge play.
It was huge.
It could have been a huge momentum swing if that's a big dunk that kind of leads Atlanta on a run.
Look, the one thing that I am noticing, and I don't necessarily blame Doc for it, but I do to an extent. So you look at the Hawks, for example, right? The Hawks played 9 guys tonight total. For a guy like Solomon Hill, who was your starter for the first couple games, to not even get checked in at all, he wasn't producing. They pulled him out.
Yeah.
The Sixers, with the injury to one of their starters, played 10 guys, but the minutes distribution was a problem. And you didn't put the guys in when they needed to be in. So it does make a difference. Right. It really does make a difference. So
it does.
You got to pick one from each team. I'm going to pick the Hawks. I'm going to pick the Hawks star of the night to start. Then you can do the Sixers, and I'll do the Sixers. And it's easy. It's John Collins. Yeah, screw Trae Young.
Yeah.
Watching the way John Collins attacked, the energy that he attacked with, he put up 14 and 12, solid double-double, but he was everywhere, and he was aggressive, and he was physical. I think that John Collins was the overall star of the night. I'm not going to say that, Trae Young's 18 assists weren't impressive like that. It was impressive. But it's because players like John Collins work their asses off. So John Collins is my hawk of the night.
Yeah.
Screw him.
Yeah.
Who's your Sixer of the night?
Yeah, it's
who played the best out of the not so great squad.
So like Ben Simmons quietly had almost a triple-double. He was 1 assist away from a triple-double. But
I think Mr. Conway, I haven't thought about that. I know we're on summer break, but I had to raise my hand, Mr. Conway. I haven't thought about that.
Good.
Mr. Conway, you mentioned that he quietly had a triple-double. He almost had that triple-double in the first half. He didn't do diddly squiddly in the second half.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
Okay. I read your lesson plans. I read your lesson plan ahead of time.
Yes. You were quietly sneaking the sub lessons into your brain. Yeah. That to me, like, you could look, if you just pulled up the stats and you looked at that, you would say like, "Oh, he was one." Yeah, he was one statistical category away from a triple double. Right.
Yeah, cool.
But then if you watch the game and then you realize that a lot of that, almost all of that statistical data came in the first half, and not much production came in the second half. I mean, not surprising considering how crappy they all played in the second half.
Yeah.
I think
You went from 34 points in the second quarter as a team to 38 points in the second half the rest of the way.
And the shitty thing is that they had all the momentum going into this half.
All of it.
They had all of it. All of it. And it drives me nuts. But like, okay, so if I have to pick a star, like Steph Curry, like Seth Curry had a great night shooting. Korkmaz had a great night shooting. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick a star of the night when you take a dump in the second half and you don't produce, and you're still like, here's the craziest thing is like these two games that they lost literally within earshot of winning, and like they have outplayed the Hawks for for almost every game except for like a couple of quarters. But those couple of quarters came in crucial times where it cost them the game.
And that's the thing. You can't ease up. So the fact they were up 13 and then all of a sudden just screw it. So I'm gonna change the question because this is actually like coming off this loss, which it just doesn't taste right. It just doesn't taste right. And I'm watching Spencer Howard's first fastball. It was well outside at 91 miles an hour. So we dropped about 4 miles an hour, friends. I don't know who had the over under. So I'm changing the question.
Who's curveball that? Yep.
Who sucked the most for the Sixers tonight? And you can't say Joel Embiid because we know Joel Embiid sucks. But you got to give him. You know what? At some point someone else has to step up. So I'm going to go first here. I cannot stand watching Shake Milton dribble the ball around over and over again. That last shot of the game was a forced shot. Why? Because Shake Milton, they're like, hey, here's the basketball. And I don't know if the shake implies like he needs to stir it up with the basketball. But watching him dribble and dribble and dribble and dribble and dribble and dribble. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Shake Milton is look, he is a great three-point shooter. He's a great three-point shooter, but he's having the same issues that Tobias Harris had last year, where he's being expected to be the ball handler. If you have Ben Simmons on the court, that's what his job has to be, because we know he can't shoot. Ben Simmons has to hold the basketball, which means Shake Milton's got to set up by the three-point line, catch the ball, and shoot it. All this dribbling is absurd. Seth Curry does not get a good look at the last shot because out of the, what was it? I think 8.2 seconds left or it was 6.6 seconds left. Out of the 6.6 seconds left, Shake Milton dribbled the ball for 6.5 of those seconds. You got to be kidding me with that. Shake Milton is on my shit list. He is shit Milton right now. I'm done. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, so we must be telepathically teleporting thoughts back and forth, because my thought for that was exactly, why is one of the worst ball handlers handling the ball?
It's not pretty.
In the possession that is at the most crucial part of the game. You have a guy in Ben Simmons who can handle the ball and handle the ball.
Ben Simmons was not on the court for that.
Other players and put those players.
But Ben Simmons was not on the court because he has no 3-point game. So you have to pull him so that they don't just foul him and kill time. However, you're telling me that Maxi's not a better option there just to dribble the ball, that George Hill's not a better option there to dribble the ball. Shake Milton is not a good ball. You know what it is? And this is a reference only you and I will get. You and I have both played in those faculty teacher basketball games. Watching Shake Milton dribble the ball is like watching a 37-year-old teacher with bum knees dribble the ball up the court.
That's like,
and I know that feeling because I'm the 34-year-old version of that.
That's like watching me bring the ball up against the East Narden faculty. Like it's just bad, and it shouldn't. It's
uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch
in crucial moments. It's so frustrating, and you know what? Let's hold Ben Simmons' feet to the fire as far as like you not being on the floor. What does that say about you if you're not on the floor in that crucial moment?
And again,
they have to take you.
1 of 5.
So frustrating.
1 of 5.
Yeah.
At some point, and look, I know during the Wizard series there was the videos, and he's shooting the free throws, and he's learning, and the hack of Ben. They're going to stop doing it now because he's making his free throws. He was 1 of 5 tonight. We lost by 3 points. If he makes 3 of 5, if he makes 4 of 5, that's a skill you have to be improved on. You can't be a guy that dribbles in aggressively, looks for contact, and shoots 50% or less from the line.
But also at the same time, if Embiid doesn't have his worst game in months, they also win.
Of course.
4
of 20. 4 of 20 is not acceptable.
No, if he's 10 of 20, they win that game, and they win it going away. So, but
again, you're asking somebody with a torn meniscus and a bad back to play 36 minutes, and what? And what? Look, I know he's the MVP of the league. And I know the fact that he's still got 21 rebounds is incredible. The dude still gets a double-double because 8 of his shots were free throws. But at some point, I agree, Jason. I'm not going to get angry at Embiid either, except for the fact that if you're going to be on the court, you have to do a little better. Tobias Harris, he's put up 20. He did what he could. Curry did what he could. Embiid physically is doing what he can. You need to have other guys step up. Ben Simmons has to step up. 11, 12, and 9, when most of those numbers all come from the first half, isn't stepping up. Shake Milton, he might as well dribble back to Philadelphia because it's infuriating. I cannot watch him handle the basketball anymore. Yeah. Dwight Howard almost had a double-double. I mean,
and it's such
I don't know.
Dwight Howard played
my sucker of the night is Shake Milton. That's what I'm going to start calling him, the sucker of the night. You concur?
I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I concur.
Then let's get into it. Hold on, wait. Jason, they shit the bed as a team and it was Doc's worst coaching performance. See, I disagree. I think his worst coaching performance was game 1 when they got the crap kicked out of them and he did nothing to fix it.
Correct.
I think this was
I
just.
agree with you. I think game
this
1
was just. Hey, we don't necessarily know what to do without Danny Green. We're figuring it out on the go.
See, and I don't think it was as much that. For me, I think it was like them consistently trying to get Embiid back on track, and he just never did.
Yeah, when you have a team that goes through Joel Embiid, he has to have.
Trying to get him. They kept trying to keep him. They kept trying to keep him involved, which I think is like, if you're going to win the game, you're going to win the game on his back, and I think that I don't think that you can account for the fact that he had his worst game in forever to be able to say and you still only lost by 3 points. Let's keep this in context. The 2 games that they lost by a combined total of 9 points.
Mm-hmm. But see, I look at game 1 and I don't give them that credit. I'm sorry.
7 points.
They decided to turn on in the last 20 minutes of the game. I don't give them that credit. They got the shit stomped out of them in game one. They just happened to make it close because they are such a good team. I don't give them the credit for game one.
But hold on. But you can't not give them credit for it. Like they played shitty in the first.
They dug themselves into such a hole. They dug themselves into such a hole that they actually couldn't dig themselves out of it. That's a team loss. I will not give them credit for when the Hawks decided to ease up, the Sixers decided to turn on.
But they played insanely good defense in the third and fourth quarter. They played really good offense.
They played good defense in the first half tonight.
Right. So
you can't play half a game in the NBA playoffs.
Well, correct. And the two games that they played half a game in are the 2 games that they lost.
Amazing how that happens. You can't play half a game in the NBA playoffs, no matter how shitty the team is. And the Hawks are not that good of a team. They have great shooters, but they are not that good of a team. The Sixers are a better team, and they have to start acting like it.
Well, and I over the course of the last couple of days, I've watched the Western Conference series and the Bucks and Nets series.
Mm-hmm.
Holy Christmas in heaven, dude. Does every team that I'm watching literally just jack up like it is like how many threes can we get up? It is insane.
That's the game.
It's
that's the game. Which is why Joel Embiid is so dominant, because no one else is doing what he does.
Correct.
You do not have legitimate big men in this league anymore. So you have to, so if he's shooting 1 of 4 from 3, where is he finding success? Muscling up Clint Capella, muscling up Bogdanovich, muscling up Trae Young when he's stupid enough to go over. That's what you need to do, and you need to keep sticking to it until it works and sticking to it until they can stop it. And since they can't stop it, you have to keep doing it. Instead, they didn't.
Right.
All right.
Nope.
Spend a couple minutes on the officials. The flagrant on Ben, the almost flagrant on Dwight, and officiating issues. I am going to start with this. It absolutely 100% was a flagrant 1 on Ben. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was not a flagrant 2. It was not malicious. It was not intended to hurt him, but it was an absolute correct call to call the flagrant 1 on Ben. I have no issue with it.
And also a super smart play.
Oh,
like a really intelligent basketball play, because
from the defensive player of the year, you mean?
If he finishes that dunk, then that could be an insanely large momentum swing for the Hawks. So I think super smart play for him to be able to say, I'm just going to take the foul. Definitely
I'm going to check on him right away.
It wasn't right. It wasn't a flagrant 2. He didn't jump up in the air and tackle him. I don't know. I just think it's a good, hard playoff foul.
Absolutely. And when you then look at the call that almost went against Dwight Howard, they ended up calling it just a foul, which I can live with, just a foul.
A common foul. Right.
But the conversation that it was going to be a flagrant on Dwight. At this point, is there anything that Dwight Howard can do on an NBA basketball court, or even at this point in an NBA arena? I'm sure he gets called for 2 fouls walking through the front door without getting called for a foul. Because it is getting goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. He seems to be the easy target once he steps on the court. And I think for me, I think he plays for the minutes that he plays good defense, keeps the play in front of him, still moves really well for a guy who's been in the league for forever at this point, it seems like.
He has. He came in young. He came in real young.
He also, I mean, it also, for me, at some point, he doesn't help himself sometimes. He's overly aggressive.
Right.
to the point where he's initiating the contact when if he goes up and stays completely vertical, he can still make the defensive play. I'm not going to crap on him because what he gives you off the bench is the best big man option off the bench that this team has had since Embiid has been on the team. He's exactly what this team needs as a big man.
I still feel that I still feel like he should have gotten some six man of the year conversation for the fact that that Joel Embiid didn't play 21 games and he had to. But with 7 points a game, you're not gonna you're not gonna get that. But just so you know, 16th year in the NBA, 16th year,
right out of high school too. He was right out of high school. Went to high school.
He's 35.
But he,
right, and he seems to not be a big fan of Atlanta either.
In that conversation, yeah, he's not going to be in that conversation when Jordan Clarkson is when he's producing what he is for the Jazz.
But again, for the Jazz, how can you have two players from the team both be finalists for sixth man of the year? Doesn't one of them have to be the seventh man of the year? I'm just saying. I'm just simple math. Is it like 6A and 6B man of the year? Like I don't. Whatever.
Hey, listen,
look, the officiating is becoming a problem. We know that. Yeah, the officiating is becoming a problem because you have a Trae Young rules. You've got the. I'll say it. Part of Joel Embiid's game is the big body flops, and it works for him. He is like those wacky, wild, inflatable arm two men outside of a car dealership where all of a sudden he's like, I got fouled again. Which again is fine. But the traveling is the one that got me. And Matt, thanks for chiming that in because I was about to get there. The traveling is absurd.
It was so bad.
Like
it was so
any high school, any middle school, any junior, any peewee official can call a travel. But not NBA.
Listen, I know Rich knows how to blow a whistle, and I feel like Rich would have had those. He's called worse walking calls in his sixth grade CYO biddy ball basketball refereeing days. But it's the thing that bothers me the most, and I'll continue to say this, is consistency.
Yes,
they're not consistent from one quarter to another. They're not consistent on one side of the court or the other. And that's the part for me as a fan is the most frustrating. And I can't imagine how frustrating. You saw Embiid's frustration during the game.
He launched the ball 90 feet across the court.
But he's walking down the end of the court and he's like,
he's pissed.
Come on. But
someone's going to get hurt.
Either call it one way or don't. But I feel like this is something we get on and talk about on all of our shows on shows that I listen to. I feel like this is the thing that gets talked about every week. And now you saw that the NBA issued a statement that they're going to review that intentionally running into the intentional initiation of contact on non-basketball related moves. They're
right. The sudden stopping and you get rear-ended. The leaning your body one way into the contact. It's enough.
The Trae Young rule, yeah.
The Trae Young, James Harden rule. Look, they've made millions off of their moves. They've made millions off of it, but you have to look at it because it's taking away from the game.
Well, and at least for me, Harden has basketball skill to his game that I can see, where it feels like Trae Young's game starts with initiating this bullshit contact. That's the part that I'm like, it makes me feel like your game is it's fake. It's a little fake.
Then let's shift gears a little bit. Was the flagrant 2 last night too extreme for Jokic? The NBA is totally back and forth on this. Most of the players in the NBA said it was way too much. You can't do that. And so just removing it from the fact that it was an elimination game,
Right.
removing the fact that it was a playoff game, was calling a flagrant 2 on the MVP of the league too extreme.
His foul in that game was slightly more aggressive than the foul that Ben Simmons had in this game. In a sense where it was involved in a basketball play. Yes, it initiated hard contact. I also feel like the player that got fouled also
Cameron Payne played it up. Because if you saw the locker room video after the game, my brother Farron, he was dancing. He was having a good time. He was probably concussed, but he was having a great time.
It just, to me, it was there wasn't a need. That wasn't, to me, that wasn't a flagrant 2. Like a flagrant 2 is like if you are walking down the court and you haul off and like you cold cock somebody and you punch them in the face like that.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
Oh my God. But it's that part was just insanely frustrating. Just so frustrating.
So here's what I'll say.
And again, it's the consistency.
Here's what I'll say. In the regular season, that can be a flagrant 2 all day. That can be a flagrant 2 all day. Because you learn your lesson. You cannot, even when you're frustrated, swing. Okay.
Right.
It was an elimination game in the playoffs. And the MVP. You can't make that call. If there is even a question of 1 versus 2, you have to give it the 1 so that the referees aren't deciding the outcome of the game. And this is huge. No way LeBron gets a flagrant 2. LeBron gets a pat on the ass for that. He doesn't even get a common foul for that. That's exactly it. You're telling me that, and again, I keep saying the MVP.
You're right.
You're telling me Jokic hasn't earned the credentials? It is the NBA playoffs. Yeah. It's an elimination game. You cannot become the centerpiece as an official and say, I'm going to take away your best player on a question. If it was a no question flagrant 2, throw his ass out. Like you mentioned, did he tackle somebody? Right. Did he punch somebody? And they're saying, oh, well, he wound up and he hit him in the face. He hit him in the face, but he was going for the ball because he was pissed off that he missed a shot. I think that it was way too extreme. Right. Regular season, yes, it's a flagrant 2. Postseason, it can't be. It can't be.
Right. Now, side note, as the MVP, how do you get
You got to be fucking smarter than that. Oh, my God.
How do you get swept?
You got to be smarter than that.
If you're the MVP, like, you gotta at least keep yourself option eligible to be in the game for your team. Like you can't put yourself in a position where where they have to make a decision whether or not you're going to play or not.
Yeah, where Aaron Gordon turns into your best player. No, because Jamal Murray's already done for the year.
Yeah,
Jokic has to be smarter than that. Right. He's got to, and he wasn't. And not saying that he cost his team the game because they were already down by a good chunk at that point, and they were already down for the series by that point. But there's no way you're winning with him getting removed. There's no way you're winning with him getting removed. So as things start to shape up, and this is our last segment of the night. And by the way, thank you to my friends who are chiming in for tuning in. I know it is late. I know have been going on for almost an hour. I know Matt is sleeping in his bed. We are telling him bedtime stories. I know his life. I know what's happening up there, but I appreciate him listening in. And Jason and everybody else who's listening. I mean, see, Matt, I know. So again, close your eyes. Here comes your Betty Bye story. So, Western Conference predictions, Eastern Conference predictions. We're getting toward the nitty gritty of it all. So currently, everybody in the East is tied up 2-2. Currently, the Suns are in the finals for the West, and the Clippers are up 27 on the Jazz right now. In what are we in? Game 2? Game 3? I don't even know where we're at. So the Jazz are up 2-1. This is game 4. This is game 4. So this series will also be tied up by the end of the night. So
miracles aside,
this game will be tied up by the end of the night. In which case, the Suns are the only one who are just chilling. They're just chilling in Phoenix. So the rest of the way, who wins to join the Suns in the Western Conference Finals? The Clippers or the Jazz?
So I like the perimeter shooting of the Jazz. I think Stephen A. Smith went a little extreme, calling Donovan Mitchell the best player
He's not.
in the history of the Jazz franchise.
Stockton, Malone, right away. Shut your damn mouth.
Correct. Right. When
Greg Ostertag is in the conversation. Greg Ostertag. Byron Russell's in the conversation. Sorry, Greg Ostertag is not in the conversation. I just like to throw out random obscure names on my show. See who remembers them.
But no, you've got shooters on that team. I like their, you can't argue Rudy Gobert's defensive presence. And until I see Paul George show up in crucial moments and be the Robin to Kawhi Leonard's Batman, I'm gonna go with the Jazz.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Jazz win this. It wouldn't surprise me if it went 7. But I am incredibly impressed by the Suns. That Phoenix team is young and impressive. Oh, stop. Oh my God. Those jerseys are sweet though.
I miss those jerseys.
They got to bring those back for the City Edition. But I think it's a 7. I think it's a 7-game series. I think the Jazz are. I think the Jazz end up, as the team that outlasts them. What do you think?
So I said in playoff prediction that I think that the Clippers are coming out of the West totally. I think playoff Kawhi is a different beast, and you're seeing it tonight. There is a reason why this team is currently up 51-24, and Kawhi's got 12. Marcus Morris I don't even know which Morris it is, but he's got 14. Paul George has got 15. I think the other options, Marcus Morris. I think the other options that they have are better than the options that the Jazz have. So if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play to an exceptional level, then the Jazz fall apart because Rudy Gobert is not a scorer. He's not a defensive player of the year, but he's also not a scorer.
No, but Jordan Clarkson
I think that the Clippers do win this. Could be, but you know what you're getting with Paul George every game. You know what you're getting with Kawhi Leonard. You know what you're getting with Patrick Beverley as far as defense goes. I mean, I think that the Clippers are just a better team.
Right.
And I do agree with this sentiment that Matt says. I said it. I think that it's Doc versus the Clippers in the finals.
I'm gonna. I mean, this is not going to be a shocker to anybody, but I think the Suns are a team that I love the way that they're playing. And
Chris Paul is playing out of his damn mind,
and Chris Paul is playing out of his mind, and Devin Booker is scoring uncontrollably,
which he does. We know that.
And here's the draft pick that we are going to dread for years. Bridges. That Bridges pick is going to come back to haunt us, not having him on this team.
I agree. I very much agree. And you know what? we traded them, and I'm sure that for some reason they got some great deal in mind, but it was the wrong move. It was the wrong move. Bridges showed what he was. Cool guy. Cool. I think DeAndre Ayton is playing better. I think that the team as a whole is just, they're playing well. So yes, the Suns Clippers Western Conference Finals is going to go at least 6. I really do like the Clippers overall. Now in the East,
I feel like that.
I think that the Sixers will get it done. Yeah. I think the Sixers will get it done. I will not be surprised if it goes a full 7 before they finally figure it out. I'm hoping it only goes 6. But that other matchup, man, we knew it was going to be a knockdown and drag out. But now Kyrie's not playing in Game 5.
Right.
So Steve Nash is your best point guard option. He's the coach. Yep.
You know?
But that's what they always were. They are a scrappy team who plays in a small market and gets looked over.
Right. And they're the team that nobody's talking about. So that, but I think as far as matchups go, I think the Sixers defensively match up really well against both of these teams. They have guys that can guard, they've got guys that can guard on the defensive end. So I like the Sixers' chances in a series against either one of those teams. It's gonna be a 6 or 7 game series.
So who do you think gets to it? Which of the two teams is coming out to face the Sixers? I personally, I think it's the Bucks. I think it's the Bucks because
right now
at some point, like
it's hard.
Harden's not playing. Yeah, Harden's not playing. Kyrie's not playing, so you have to rely on Kevin Durant, who is an exceptional basketball player, but he's still only one guy. Whereas Drew Holiday, Middleton, Antetokounmpo, like they have players that can score from every which way. Who also sucks at free throws. God, if it's the two teams, y'all getting a lot of Frosties.
But no,
point to the lie.
Oh my God, I think their matchup against like if you would have asked me at the beginning of the series, I probably would have said the Nets. But now with the injuries, you don't know when either Harden or Kyrie are coming back. The way that the Bucks are playing now, like we talked about earlier, the momentum is all on the Bucks side right now. So what the Bucks have to do is capitalize on that and go into Brooklyn and win Game 6 or win Game 5, and then they can go back and win games. If they can build that momentum, I'd be shocked if this series doesn't go 7.
We've been saying that. We've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah,
that series was always going to go 7.
It's right. I was really surprised they got waxed as bad as they did in the first 2 games, though.
Yeah, but it happens. We got, again, outside of the last 15 minutes, we got waxed in Game 1 too. So I don't even want to hear. It can happen to any team on any night. It's how you respond back.
Absolutely. Right.
I think that the Nets.
To Game 1.
Yeah, I think that the Nets, their biggest issue is that they expect to be there. They expect to be in the NBA Finals, but to do the work to get there, I don't know if they if I'm James Harden, I'm not sitting out. If I'm Kyrie Irving, I'm not sitting out. If I'm Joel Embiid, I literally am not sitting out. This is my point.
Right.
It's a difference, man. I don't know. Anything else you want to say? Because I am Sixered out. We have said who sucks. We have said who was moderately okay. We have blamed the officials. We have done it all, and we're doing it all again on Wednesday. So anything else you would like to add, sir?
I don't know. Let's go Sixers.
Yeah.
Win it on Wednesday. Show up on Wednesday. I think if you can kind of take them out of the game early on Wednesday, and
You gotta go for the kill shot.
swing the momentum back. I think if you can kind of put it to them on Wednesday night, and then
Yes.
let's go back to what we talked about at the beginning. You knew based on losing game 1, you were going to have to win 2 games in Atlanta.
Yep.
You thought so here's your opportunity to win your second game in Atlanta and close it out, and maybe get a couple of extra days rest before that series starts.
Right, and just be done with it at this point. Like, let's just be done with this team, and let's get rested up and healthy for whoever comes out of the other matchup. So again, this has been Chips and Dish special Sixers post-game edition. Busy week this week for the All About the Birds Network. So again, Chips and Dish every Monday night. We do this every single Monday night. Tuesdays on the All About the Birds Network, we have Fairway to Heaven, which is our fantasy golf and gambling show. Anything special for Drunk on Broad tomorrow night for you, Sir Don?
Yeah, we got Sixers. We're going to obviously recap the Sixers game and talk about the Phillies this week. Kind of putting a couple wins together. Kind of
just when it off, man.
Thought you were out, walking it off. Pull you back in.
Currently, and I know we're not supposed to say it. We're going off the air in a minute or two. Spencer Howard has a no going. That would be the ultimate pull you back in. The
Absolutely.
shittiest pitcher on the Phillies lineup has a
no going. Right. Yeah.
No, he's actually still throwing in the 90s, man.
Here's one thing I know we won't be discussing. We will not be discussing the Sixers signing, or the Eagles signing a third string quarterback. We will not be discussing that.
No. You're not going to Mullins it over?
We will not be breaking down Nick Mullins' tape. No, we will not be breaking down Nick Mullins' tape.
Well, Wednesday night here on the All About the Birds Network, we have our weekly Eagles show. It's coming out of a Sixers game. I think we're doing the splitsy. Hell, we might be doing a Sixers post game. So Wednesday night, be on here. Thursday night, we are debuting a brand new show here on the All About the Birds Network. We have some outstanding writers who have been covering the Philadelphia Union and all things soccer, aka European football. So there is a new show on the All About the Birds Network on Thursday night called All Across the Pitch at 8 p.m. on Thursday. So we have Mike Barrera and British Dave talking some soccer. Some soccer. Maybe I'll learn something there. And of course, we have our.
Is that going to be a live show, British Dave?
It is a live show. Yes, he is going live at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's commitment. Which is being produced by intern Mike.
Right there.
That show is produced by intern Mike here on the All About the Birds Network. That's right. I said it. Intern Mike. Birds, beer, and BS on Fridays and some sort of drafting. So lots of stuff. Make sure you are following, liking, subscribing, all of that good stuff. Once again, our sponsors, Statement Games, fun free twist on fantasy sports. Link in the bio. OddsJam.com, Arbitrage Calculator. I learned the word arbitrage because of OddsJam.com. Link in the bio. AATBirds.com/shop. Link in the bio. 99jersey.com. AATBirds20 for your 20% discount at checkout. And Manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you for 20% off and free shipping at checkout. And of course, I'll be playing the brand new Father's Day commercial, which is going to kill Don Conway off of the air because it is the most absurd thing I've ever recorded in my entire life. Y'all enjoy it now, you hear? So as we end every show here on the All About the Birds Network, we say very simple, go Birds. We're going to say go Sixers, and we're also going to say we're out of beer, so we're out of here. Cheers, bitches.
Father's Day is just around the corner, and y'all probably need a gift for your hairy dad. Make your dad proud this year and get him and yourself the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Now, heard that right. The Lawnmower 4.0. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Shoot, it was just last week when I asked my dad, "Hey, Daddy, how's your balls doing?" He said, "Son, it's a hairy situation." I said, "Well, boy, Manscaped just released a brand new product, the Lawnmower 4.0. Imagine surprising your dad with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized body hair trimmer that says your balls will thank you on the box. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Well, you might ask, how is the Lawnmower 4.0 different from other trimmers? Well, it includes a multi-function on-off switch that can engage a travel light. Great feature if your father or yourself to travel. And it gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when you need a more precise shave. Shoot, now you can shave your balls in the dark. You can trim with additional guard lengths and has a wireless charging system. Yeah, you heard that right. Wireless charging ball trimmers are a real thing. The Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer is the best nose hair trimmer on the market and perfect gift for your pops if you've seen that nose bush sticking out your dad's nose. Not to mention amazing products like the Cologne, Crop Mop, Ball Wipes, Crop Reviver, Ball Toner, and Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Get your dad a gift you know they will use. That's 20% off for free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AATBirds. Don't forget that you came from your daddy's balls. This year, show your original home some love with Manscaped.